Hello friends, today I'm going to do a reading update video. I'm going to share with you all the books which I read in the month of May and the books which I'm currently reading. So the 6 books which I read in the month of May were all classics. I am going to do a separate video doing a mini review of all of them, but let me just do a quick overview of all the books I read this month. The first one which I read was The Odd Women by George Gissing. I gave that 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I do not have a physical copy, I read that on my iPad. The second book which I read was, I'm not even sure which one was the second, but anyways, I read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I gave this 3.5 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. The third book which I read was Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I gave this one 5 stars on Goodreads. It was such a fun little story. I've already watched the BBC miniseries and I just wanted to read the book, and I found this so much fun. The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. This took me almost 10 days to finish, but it was such an enjoyable read, and I have so many things to say about this book, so I'm going to make a separate video. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads. And the last book which I read was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This was a reread for me. It's been a long time since I read Pride and Prejudice, and I read this using audiobook and it was so much fun. And this edition had some cute illustrations which were just hilarious, and I mean their dresses, and I highlighted so many things because this is my favorite book of all time. I just enjoyed it very, very much. Look at this. Such cute illustrations. Seriously, I didn't know when I was buying this, but I'm so happy that I got this edition because the illustrations make everything so much better. So yeah, those were the 5 books which I read in the month of May. So the book which I am currently reading is Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. Now, I've only read Great Expectations by Charles Dickens and I did not like it. So it was a very tough decision for me to pick a Dickens book, but after watching a lot of YouTube videos, I decided to give Little Dorrit a try because it was a favorite of everyone. Little Dorrit is a story about a young girl who is 22 years old and her name is Amy Dorrit. She looks very young even though she is 22 years old, and she is born in a prison, and that's where the story starts. I've only read 200 pages of this and it is almost 850 pages long. I was struggling during those 200 pages and I decided to listen to the audiobook, which helped me a lot because there is a lot of dialogue, and to be honest, I'm not very fond of this kind of writing style. I prefer the writing styles of George Eliot. Since there is a lot of dialogue here, so the audiobook was very helpful because the narrator was using different voices for different characters. I'm not giving up on Little Dorrit yet. I am still going to read this. I think I'm going to give the BBC miniseries a try because I am not the kind of person who is troubled if they already know the ending. I prefer to know the ending before I read a book, so I think that would help me a lot. I'm not giving up. I will keep on reading this and I will keep you posted about my progress through these 850 pages. The second book which I am currently reading is Persuasion by Jane Austen. I recently bought this copy of Persuasion. I read Persuasion a very long time ago and I wanted to reread it, so I have started doing that. I am using the help of an audiobook from Audiobook Buzz, which is a YouTube channel, and I have made a little progress. I'm only 50 pages into this. It's just a short book, almost 200 pages long, but I have thoroughly enjoyed the first 50 pages. It's so much fun and I find Anne Elliot so relatable. For some reason, she is the only Jane Austen heroine which resonates with me. I've highlighted already so many things I like about this. And Wentworth just has just arrived, and it's just amazing. Let me just read a few sentences. When Wentworth sees Anne for the first time after 8 years. In 2 minutes after Charles' preparation, the others appeared. They were in the drawing room. Her eye half met Captain Wentworth's. A bow, a courtesy passed. She heard his voice. He talked to Mary, said all that was right, said something to the Miss Musgroves, enough to mark an easy footing. The room seemed full of persons and voices. But a few minutes ended it. I'm just so happy to read this. It's such a pleasure read for me. Those are the two books which I am currently reading, Little Dorrit and Persuasion. I'm so happy that this reading update had 3 books by Jane Austen in it. I mean, how awesome is that? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. I will see you in my next video. Bye.